Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the GSU Faculty-Led Program Workshop, where we will take your idea and turn it into a reality. So I wanted to start by explaining what is a faculty-led program. It's a program where a professor leads a group of students abroad and will teach 1 to 2 courses. It is typically one three credit course, but we have seen faculty do up to 6 credits. And the time range is typically from 7 days to 3 weeks. It could be longer, um, but that's the general time frame. So today we're going to go over the planning, procedure, resources, and important information. You'll see here each college has conducted a variety of faculty-led programs all over the world, and we're very excited to have them continue to offer programs. In 2022, for the spring, we had attempted to do an Afro-Latino Cultures of the Dominican Republic program, but it was canceled due to COVID-19. We do have a public health brigade to Ghana approved for summer 2022. Since I created this slide, the honors seminar in Rome has been conditionally approved for the second time, and we hope to make the final approval in the first week of April. Um, the interdisciplinary leadership in Ghana was canceled due to low enrollment, as well as the business brigade to Panama. Um, Regarding the conditional approval, in a sense, nowadays, with the world we're living in, the programs are essentially always conditional because you never know what can happen and at what point the program could be canceled due to COVID or war, or any of these major disruptions. But in any case, we do our best to um, mitigate risk and make the best decision of moving forward based on health and safety of our programs and students. So we're going to go over under planning, program models, course first location, and on-site support. There are a lot of different ways you can structure your faculty-led program. You can do a stationary program where you stay in one location the whole time and perhaps do some excursions or day trips. You can do multi-stop or traveling where you are going to visit a few different countries or cities. This is easy to do if you're in Europe, for example. We've had a program go to um, Budapest, Czech Republic, and Austria, all on the same program. You can do a field study or research, which is more for archaeological digs, biological research. We haven't had any of these, at least since I've been at GSU. And then service learning, so that's where you're integrating community service with guided instruction and reflection. When you're thinking about where to go, you want to make sure that that location is well connected with the course you are offering. Now, um, it may be an obvious choice, and sometimes it's not. So you just want to make sure that you do make that connection and understand, why you chose that location and how, what cultural components will be added to that course because it's not being taught on campus. There's a lot of on-site support opportunities. I highly recommend working with a third-party provider. They have offices all over the world. They have a lot of resources and staffing on the ground, and they will do all of the logistics and planning for you. So GSU, when they work with a provider, they're really giving one big check to them to take care of all of that. And an important part of having a provider is also risk management. They have, their own management teams that can support our students, um, especially during these times of traveling during COVID, where there are many more layers than we used to have. Other support on site are partner universities. So we do have partner universities in Brazil, Thailand, China, Japan, Czech Republic. Some of them might be able to assist with organizing interactions or tours on the ground. Um, and, you know, for example, the partners in Thailand were actually built through the counseling department, and they conducted counseling workshops. So between GSU and Barapa University, the counseling students would present on a certain topic of interest, and there'd be a very rich cultural and knowledge exchange. You can also consider partnering with another university. For example, the health administration department went to Sweden with Central Michigan University because the professors had close contacts there and they wanted to go to the same location. And it was a very rich exchange between GSU and Central Michigan. So that's another thing that you can consider, especially if you do have contacts at another university that wants to do something similar. You also may have lived in another country, or perhaps you know a lot of people from other countries. These close contacts can be very important as you structure your program. Um, you know, the these contacts you can also use in conjunction with the third party providers. So, for example, let's say you decide to use World Strides to put together a program in South Africa, and you have a contact at um, a university in South Africa, and you let them know, listen, I really want us to stop at this university and have a lecture with this professor. That's perfectly fine. They will add that to your itinerary. They invite you um, to share, personal touches and contacts that you might have in country. So, a general overview of the pre-approval procedure is, first of all, attending a workshop so that you can understand what this all entails. Then you will submit an initial proposal. This is a new step that we've added just so that we can get a good view of all of the proposals that we expect to receive for the academic year. And we have a Global Affairs Committee that will be able to review all of the initial proposals and give feedback to help ensure a successful program. Then you will meet with the Office of International Services for program development, and that is currently myself, Amy Sub. And you will work with the provider or host university to obtain quotes and create a desired itinerary. You will also create a course or use an existing course. Many people do like to use special topics courses or an existing course that would fit well into this study abroad experience. I rarely see professors creating a course for this experience because it does take a lot of time to create a new course, but that is certainly an option if you want to go that route. And then you'll work on a budget and program description. I will work with you on the budget because there are some things that you may not be aware of, such as our health insurance costs and the way that we break down our budget. Once you have the full packet together, you can submit the official proposal for signatures, which you will obtain from first the Global Affairs Committee, then the department chair, the dean, and the provost. So it's beneficial for you to meet with me from the Office of International Services so that you can get some ideas for your proposal, likelihood for success, and possible pitfalls, such as um, financial matters, safety related matters, or competing programs. We'll help you navigate institutional processes, policies, and understand who does what. We can help you with the financial management, with deposits and reconciliation. We can help with logistical arrangements. So even though you may be working with a provider who's doing the majority on the ground, there may be some pieces that we can help with. And I do usually like to get a quote for a group flight from our travel agent, Direct Travel, just to compare and see what may be the better option. We also help with crisis management, um, enrollment application management, on-site connections, possibly, and visa assistance. If your country requires a visa to enter, we will help that process, help the students with that process. For example, we have a group going to Ghana this summer, so I'm, making sure the students will all fill out their application and fill it out correctly, and then they'll give me the application. I'll collect all of their passports with a passport photo and ship a group application to New York where they will be processed. So I definitely like to make that process as simple as possible for our students because it can be very complicated and it's easy to mess that up. And we know that our students, a lot of them, this is their first time traveling abroad, so they need that extra help. All right, so as you're thinking about program development, you'll want to consider the academics, the curricular fit, alignment with the GSU strategic plan. That's something that we're really encouraging more and more is, how does this program align with the strategic plan? And we do want you to address that in your initial proposal. And if you have a departmental strategic plan as well, feel free to add that in. Think about your audience as well. Is this going to be open to all students or only students from a specific major? Is there a prereq? So, for example, we have the Public Health Brigade to Ghana and Panama that is open to all students, alumni. They even accept certain community members, whereas the education program is very specific to students in, the education major. So it just really depends on the course that's being offered and how specific you want it to be. You'll also want to think about college or department support. Usually they are very supportive, but you want to make sure that you have that support. You want to think about the course models, content hours, and credit. So we mentioned most likely you will do a 3-credit course. And the content hours, so because you are together on a program, whether it's 7 days or 21 days, there's a lot of time that you are learning. It's, experiential learning or maybe doing tours that are related to the course. So, I've noticed that professors can often justify a lot of contact hours within the time that you are abroad, as opposed to, a course that's going to last a whole semester. And then another aspect is sustainability. So we want to know Is this something that you plan to offer every year, every other year? Is this just a one-time program? We do encourage faculty to create programs that are sustainable because, that it'll it should be more successful in the long term. And we want to grow our options for students. And it does take a little bit of time to get new programs off the ground. It takes a lot of time to put them together. So if you're creating a new program every year, it can be very exhausting. But if repeat a program, you've already got the roots set and can hopefully make it successful throughout the years and something that students can look forward to. There is a planning worksheet provided in the faculty packet that will kind of help guide you through these few questions. Other intercultural learning opportunities you can consider adding to your itinerary are having a language buddy, interaction with local students, doing a scavenger hunt around the city, doing interviews with locals, structuring local students as translators, mentors, or guides, and then, of course, any sort of dancing or cooking lessons are always a fun way to experience the culture. So a nice mix of structured and unstructured opportunities is a great way to experience local culture. As you are deciding which course you're going to align with this program, you'll want to think about, okay, is it spring, summer, or fall? And if it's spring, um, it can't overlap with the summer uh, session, or summer can't overlap with fall. Um, so to give you an idea, if you want it to be a fall course, it would have to either start after the end of summer and end before the end of the year, let's say, because we've had groups go that period between the end of the fall semester and before Christmas. And that's sort of a sweet spot where you can go and it would be considered a fall course. Another option would be if you went in January, that would be considered a spring course. And then if you went that time between the end of spring and before summer semester, then that could be considered spring. But you do have to keep in mind not to be abroad during commencement because you may likely have students that want to participate in commencement and they won't be able to go on the program. You don't want to take that away from them. And in general, it's just not good practice for us to plan a program during commencement. All right. So once again, think about how many credits, what the dates are going to be, the dates of the class and the dates of the travel portion. Excuse me. So, the dates of the class could be the same dates as the semester, or maybe you make it a little shorter. Usually the class will meet a few times before departure, and then maybe once or twice when they come back to do a final paper or presentation. You'll want to know the leaders' names. So I assume that you would be the primary leader, and we do require at least 2 leaders. Typically, they are both faculty, but sometimes we have a faculty and a staff member. You'll want to think about academic work and the transfer course titles and credits. To be honest, I think that was an old statement, as I'm not sure what that's referring to unless you have a student maybe that is not from GSU. So, sorry for that. Once the course number is in the GSU system, students can register for it and student accounts can charge participants. So once we get to the point where students need to register, we'll either ask them to register or we'll manually register them. So depending on who your audience is and who you want to accept to the program, the courses can be open to undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral students. And as I mentioned earlier, some programs also allow alumni and community members. Budget planning. So there's a lot of things to think about when planning the budget, but do not worry because I will help you with that. And if you are working with a provider, that is one of the best things is they will give you an itinerary and a cost. And there's few adjustments we need to make to it. And you don't have to worry about the majority of what is on here. If you're doing more in-house planning and development, then you do need to think about these. But in any case, you'll want to start thinking about, okay, what are the key budget cost items such as travel, accommodations, museums, food, and establish a program fee. You'll want to think about prepayment of program expenses, what needs to be paid ahead of time, and then any staff or faculty expenses, and itemize on-site expenses that cannot be prepaid because you will need to get a cash advance to pay for those on-site. There can be budget challenges such as exchange rates changing. You know, you have a budget for so many dollars and all of a sudden the dollar is not as strong as it was when you were planning. So you do need to think about that. You want to plan for some emergency funds. Once fees are collected from students, the cost cannot be raised. So make sure that um, you've got a comfortable price. Inability for students to use semester-based financial aid, plan ahead. Okay, so it can be challenging for students to use financial aid for faculty-led programs because a lot of times the program fees are due before the aid is dispersed.